This video is going to be an STPAP update. If your small business received a COVID economic injury disaster loan during the pandemic, I'm the EIDL expert, and I'm here to share advice and wisdom and recommended strategies on how to manage the loan. And this video is for you. Today I'm going to discuss an update on the recently initiated short-term payment assistance program from the SBA, a program that SBA implemented to replace the existing payment assistance program called Hardship Accommodation Program, or HAP, which the SBA canceled arbitrarily, capriciously, and without any notice on March 19th, 2025. And then shortly thereafter, we discovered through one of the clients who booked a 1-hour call with me that they had initiated a new program. There was no appearance of this information on the SBA website. In fact, I don't know when it magically appeared, but I discovered it just a few days ago in the month of June. To be clear, they canceled the HAP program back on March 19th. That client booked a 1-hour call with me in April because he had requested extension of his HAP, and SBA responded and said, no, HAP is done, finito, ended, dead. But if you send us a letter about your hardship, we'll offer you short-term payment assistance for 6 months at 50%. And he sent me a copy of the email he got from SBA in April. And I immediately went to the SBA website. I'm like, oh, great. They will have updated it so I can see what the guidelines are. Nope, wasn't there. And I kept checking back. Ultimately, I kind of moved on because I have other things to do with my life than check the SBA website every day. But a few days ago, I was doing a video and I just went into the SBA website to double check that. And sure enough, now they have the guidelines, which you can see on this screenshot from SBA.gov, which has the new guidelines for the short-term payment assistance program. Essentially, you must be current on your loan. If you are late, you cannot be more than 120 days delinquent, which is roughly 4 months. And please, do not use 4 months to equate with 120 days. Because some months have 31 days in them. And in a leap year like last year, some months had 29 instead of 28 days, right? Okay. So keep in mind that you must count the days of your delinquency: 30 days delinquency, 60 days delinquency, 90 days delinquency, 120 days. If you have to count on your fingers, do that. Because, as we learned last year with the U.S. Treasury mess, the SBA systems internally for marking you delinquent and sending your loan out of the SBA system to the U.S. Treasury for collection is really complicated and dysfunctional. So again, to qualify for the short-term payment assistance program, first and foremost, you must be either current on your payments, or if you have recent late payments, you cannot late payments at that moment, in this moment now as you're asking for the help, you cannot be more than 120 days delinquent. And by regulation, in the federal regulations, once a loan arrives at 120 days of delinquency, the SBA is required to take the loan and write it off of their books as what's called a charge-off, as an uncollectible debt, and send that loan to the United States Treasury for collection. And the U.S. Treasury will add 30% penalty and invite you into a whole new world of pain and hurt that you don't even want to know about. Okay, so we have the primary qualifications. And now, if you meet those two criteria, you're either current or you're no more than 120 days delinquent, then you can send a letter signed by you. And please, do not sign it in a PDF with one of those fake signatures where you type the name and the PDF, scripts your name. Print it out on a piece of paper and take a pen and put a black ink signature on it and scan it and send it to the SBA and make sure it's on your company letterhead and make sure it references your SBA loan number, and tell the SBA the other criteria that they need to hear from you to qualify for the short-term payment assistance. And those two criteria are, number one, explain what is your hardship. And number two, what is your plan to overcome this challenge with cash flow or with economic conditions, whatever the problem is in your business that's causing you to have issues making a full payment, you must outline to the SBA what your plan is in a written letter. Now, we have a guidebook we created. If you want to purchase that, there's a link in the description that will give you more detail on what I just described to you on how to prepare that letter, and having worked on thousands of SBA transactions. Link in the description. We know from our friend Giselle Balboa, who came into our comments, and I featured her recently in one of our other videos. Giselle Balboa asked us back in April in comments here if she would be eligible for it. And as I often do, I tell people, listen, Trevor's golden rule, always apply. And as you can see by these comments, Giselle was approved. And by other comments we've seen, folks are telling us that all they needed to do was submit a letter, and the SBA did not ask for other documents. The original client who hired us for the 1-hour phone call in April, whose initial request for the call was, hey, listen, there's this new short-term payment program. Here's the email from SBA. I need 1 hour of your time, Trevor, because I know I'm going to get one shot at requesting this, and I would like to make sure that I'm doing the best I can to improve the odds of my success. Because we all know how SBA can make things more complicated than they need to be. And so he booked that call with me as kind of an insurance policy. And again, as I said earlier, I had not heard of this program until he reached out to us. And as I've put together in the guidebook, I put together a comprehensive analysis of what, if I were approving this request at SBA, what I would ask for. And that's also based on previous experience with the hardship accommodation program, which I've processed dozens and dozens of those, maybe even hundreds. It appears that people are getting approved with a letter. I wouldn't leave that to chance. That's why we created the guidebook. That client who booked a 1-hour call recently emailed me and told me he got approved, and all they needed was the letter, and they sent me a copy of the letter, and he definitely took the template that I gave him on the phone that day, and he expanded on it pretty much to match what I've put into our guidebook. He used very similar language to what I suggest in the guidebook. But Giselle Balboa and other folks are telling us that they're getting approved, and that's really good news. Here's the thing I want to talk about as part of this issue with making payments. If you're having difficulty making payments, if you're having difficulty in your business where you are having this challenge with paying this debt, as I said in the video I did earlier this week, the help you needed during the pandemic, but the nightmare you don't deserve right now. And there's no accommodation with the Small Business Administration. I mean, this short-term payment program is really kind of a joke, because 6 months, 50% reduction, that is not a true accommodation. As I said in the earlier video, I mean, in my experience, when someone runs into financial challenges, whether they're personal or professional, it can take 18 to 24 months to kind of just even the keel of the boat, if you will, on the stormy weather, waves, on the ocean. 6 months is not cutting it. It's kind of a fantastical thinking, in my opinion, on the part of the SBA to think that you can repair a major issue with your business, whether it's operational or revenue-based or marketing-based, whatever it is. To think that you can repair that in 6 months, I think, is fantastical, magical thinking. And that's the same phrase I use, as you all know, if you watched our videos for any length of time. That's the same phrase I use with people who think they're going to get forgiveness. Magical, fantastical thinking, like out of a science fiction novel. Speaking of, if you've been with us any time, if you are not already subscribed to our channel, could you please do that right now? Because we discovered that more than 70% of you who watch our videos are not subscribed. And if you're getting value from this video, please hit the thumbs up and like the video, because it takes you 1 second to do that. Click, boom, like that. I was watching YouTube this afternoon, watching cool videos with guys and gals playing synthesizers in their apartments. I like synthesizer music. And I was working on some stuff. I had these videos going in the background. And when I came across a video I liked, they didn't ask me for a thumbs up, but I did it because I want to see more of that type of video. And that's what happens when you hit the thumbs up and when you subscribe. You tell the algorithm, you tell YouTube that this video has value. And here's what happens. Here's how you are supporting us when you do that. YouTube will share our videos with other small business owners just like you who have questions about the COVID program. And as we are right now discovering, there's no one else out here in YouTube land who's talking about this program, at least not in the same way that I'm talking about it on these videos. Going back to the issue of challenges in your business. This is a general commentary about small business. We know that things happen in life. Divorce happens, people get fired, people get sick, revenue issues come up with the business, a competitor opens up close by. I recently did a 1-hour consulting call with an owner of a laundromat. He's been in business for over 20 years, and he shared with me the challenges he's having because 3 new laundromats have opened up in his city. And he told me it's a small city. And so he's already seeing the impact of the competition that has opened up with shiny, brand new machines. And he's working with kind of an aging internal infrastructure at his business. So again, any number of challenges. This is why we get so annoyed with the SBA not providing any of you with any kind of proper ability to communicate with the SBA and have a conversation with an SBA representative to work out like a payment plan like you could with the IRS. But more to the point, if you're running into those challenges, please consider jumping over to our other YouTube channel called Simple Sense for Small Business, where Linda Ray and I expound and advise and strategize and commentarize, is that a word? On all of the boring junk that none of you want to think about. We know, because we both have owned businesses. I've been a manager. I ran a mortgage company. She owned her own insurance agency. We know the challenges that you all face, and we have experience and knowledge on all kinds of issues, whether it's hiring and firing, dealing with professionals like CPAs and attorneys, marketing, operations, employee manuals, like you name it. We've got hundreds of videos over there to help you either just get simple inspiration that you can do this, you can get through this because you're your own boss and you don't want to work for someone else, or ideas that might spark a moment of creativity in your mind and say, wait, that's a really good idea from Linda Ray and Trevor. I'm going to use something like that, or I'm going to use that exact idea to fix what's broken in my business, or to change my business to make more money, or to maintain my revenue, or to just completely undertake a complete pivot and do something completely different. All of that we talk about on the Simple Sense for Small Business channel. So please help us grow that channel by clicking on the link and jumping over there. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to our COVID EIDL channel. Linda and I truly appreciate all of you. And if you could please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you want to book a 1-hour call with me, there's a link in the description. And as I've been mentioning all of this week and through, I think, either June 13th or 14th, if you wish to purchase our EIDL Resource Hub at the current lower price before we increase the price almost double, you can click on a discount link in the description, which will only be there until either June 13th or 14th. I'm sorry that I forget the exact date. And after that date, we will remove the discount link from all of the videos. So now's your chance. If you've been vacillating, thinking about it, or maybe you just want to recommend that your accountant or your attorney purchase it so they can better advise you and their other clients. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in, and why don't you have a look at some of these videos over on Simple Sense for Small Business. I think you'll find them useful and inspirational.